Hey guys! Thanks for carpooling with me to Moore's Chicken and Barbecue. I hear it's really good Eastern barbecue.
Glad to be here.
That's the place to be, right?
Right.
All right, gotta hold up, Chris.
Gotcha.
All right, so thank you for carpooling. So tell me, we're in Eastern North Carolina. We're in New Bern.
Mm-hmm.
Tell everybody who you are.
Okay, so I'm Chris Suggs. I'm from Kinston, North Carolina, but I'm a senior at UNC Chapel Hill, where I'm studying political science and religious studies, and I serve as senior class president there.
Oh, and you're a Wolfpack fan, right?
Oh, I won't hold that against you.
And I'm Kim Smith. I am with the Craven County Board of Education, and I'm also a community member with Havelock Chamber of Commerce. I serve as president there, so just a community-based person from Havelock,
Kim,
even though we're in New Bern.
Local school board to me is the hardest job.
Absolutely.
Ever.
I agree with you.
It really is. I know you can't go to the grocery store or Moore's Barbecue without
Right.
someone wanting to talk about school.
Right.
So, what do you guys need from the next state superintendent? What are you hoping, if I win, I can do to help you guys and help New Bern and Eastern North Carolina?
Well, I think for my community hat, just for me, what I would personally love to see is a superintendent who can change the narrative of public ed and really bring both sides together. We have, right now we have created, and if we don't change it, a system of public education that is just the most divided, segregated, and unequal system we've had in decades. And so I would love a state superintendent who could bring people together and create a North Carolinian vision of public ed.
Nice.
Not regurgitate the Democratic platform of it or the Republican, because I'll just say I'm unaffiliated, so I see good in both parties and bad in both parties and good people in both.
Yeah.
But what North Carolinians want for public education, because we get sound and basic, we get general and uniform, but I think most North Carolinians really want more than that.
Yeah. I was a former Republican, so I've been both parties.
Yeah.
And I would say that I'm working on my vision. And for me, it's going to be about every child flourishing. I love the word flourish. And equity is the core value, right? So everything we do and think about is this for every child?
Right.
Or is this for some children?
Exactly.
What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that word equity. I think that's something that we need to hear more of when it comes to education. We talk about, what's the best approach for this group of students or what's the best approach for all students. But equity is realizing that what works for some may not work for all, and we have to really meet students where they are. And I would love to have that in our next state superintendent. And I expect that, and I'm looking forward to that being the case when you become our next superintendent.
Yeah.
So that would be the thing for me, and especially when you look at the needs of different communities across our state. Like here in Eastern North Carolina, we have so many unique challenges, whether that's us being just such a rural community and the lack of broadband access, which has been a huge issue right now in the midst of this pandemic, where students are at home and having to do virtual learning, and our teachers are at home having to work from home. And how exactly do we make sure that there's equitable internet access across all of our communities? How do we make sure that students who may be at a school where they're doing a hybrid program from in-person and both online options, how do we make sure that students are receiving the best education both on and offline? So approaching things from equity and being very responsive to the needs of us in Eastern North Carolina, that's what I would love to see.
We can put a missile all the way across the world within like a 3-foot span, and we can't get broadband all across North Carolina.
I know.
And when I talk about equity, one of the things I try to say is when your sociocultural or your background does not determine or predict how you're going to succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now it does predict. So we've got to do some things differently.
Yeah, and public educated, the teachers are the most creative and most innovative problem solvers anywhere. But right now there are so many strings and things that confine them from being able to be innovative and meet the needs of. We could create a system of choice within the public school system.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be separate and apart from.
Yes.
But they need to loosen some of the reins that are keeping us from being able to do that right now.
Yeah, I do believe in choice. I just think it needs to be under the public school system.
I do too.
So that folks like you on a school board can hold them accountable for spending and for, sometimes these charter schools have been known to be corrupt. But when you don't oversee something, when
Right.
there's no one checking it, it's ready for that, right? What else do you need, Chris?
Yeah, for me, as a young person, as a student, now in college, but have grown up and through the public education system here in North Carolina, something that I struggled with and something that I hated so much is that when there were issues that would arise in our public education system, everybody's talking about it, our parents, our teachers, our administrators, but very rare were the students actually involved in those
Exactly.
conversations. So I would love to have a state education system, a public education system, and a government that's really inclusive of young people being at the table. Like, we're the ones who know honestly what may be best for our education. We're the primary stakeholders in our education. So why aren't we included in some of those conversations? Why aren't our school board members meeting with young people about the decisions, or our teachers and administrators, talking to us about what is their reopening plan or what are their plans for school safety? So having more student voice included, I think, would be a great next step.
Yes, I met with two students not too long ago, and I promised them that students will have a voice at the table for sure. Right now, even educators don't have a voice, right? And unfortunately, boards of education have a voice, but everything's on you.
I know.
No
And-
money, but make all these decisions, right?
Yeah, and it's incredibly difficult. There's no win here, right? There's just no win. There are opportunities that the pandemic created though with education, because
I love that.
it is an opportunity if you take it,
Yeah.
and if we're able to take it is the key there. But as a board member, I would really love for the next superintendent of the State Board of Education to develop a common understanding and governance plan of whose responsibilities are whose. That would help us, and also to create an environment in DPI that's more supportive and less punitive. And
Yes.
I mean, certainly there has to be compliance, but I would much rather have a professional development plan and coaching mechanisms and support for teachers
Yeah.
to help them be more than compliant, right? To help them succeed.
Yeah, I don't even understand why we have punitive measures, because no one in education is doing this
Right.
to do poorly, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So you guys want to listen to some music?
Sure.
Who's got the music?
Let's see.
Oh, Chris does.
I think I do have a little Uptown Funk for us.
Oh, I love me some Bruno. Do you have kids, Kim?
I do. They're both educators. They're grown, and they're both educators.
And we got our Carolina guys.
Right?
We have to say that Liz picked this. Liz Henderson picked this song. Living it up in the city. Kiss myself.
That's too pretty.
All right. Well, I think I know what Eastern North Carolina needs. Needs a little more Bruno.
A little more Bruno.
I need some Chris at Chapel Hill coming and helping me at DPI. And I need to support the school boards, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I love your flamingos, by the way.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, here we are at Moore's Chicken and Barbecue. Let's go.